This is just move number 6, and you're already dominating the game. Are you curious about this gambit? Well, to start, are you under 1000 ELO? You had better see this video, then. This gambit, known as the Stafford Gambit, performs well below 1000 ELO or even below 1500. This gambit begins with e4, e5, knight f3, knight f6, and then the knight captures a pawn, knight c6, giving the opponent choices about whether to take or not. If they don't, then we can have an equal position. If they take it, then they have a little advantage. That's why there is a high chance they're taking it. We take back with pawn then. There are numerous moves the opponent might make here after we take back with a pawn, but we only concentrate on 4 of them. They have 4 options. First is pushing this pawn to attack your horsey. Second is taking out this knight to support this pawn e in the center or pushing this pawn to support the pawn. And lastly to get out this queen with the same idea of defending its pawn. To make the various theories and possibilities of the Stafford Gambit easier to understand, always in mind that this gambit just focuses on attacking the f2 square. Let's analyze first of pushing this pawn to defend. After that, develop your bishop in c5 with the intention of hitting the f2 pawn. If your opponent tries to pin your queen, simply take the e4 pawn, giving your queen but a coming trap for a mate. Let's return to this position, assuming the opponent pushes e5 rather than going for pin. Continue to move your knight to e4 with the same goal of attacking the pawn on f2. If they take your knight, then we can sacrifice our bishop to get a queen. If they don't take your bishop, then we can have a check and still taking their queen. So, if they trying to block it with bishop, we can just have a bishop trade then followed by queen check. If they move, then it's an easy checkmate. But if they cover with pawn, then we can just take it. Rook is being pinned, that's why if they take your horsey, we can take their rookie. Let's go back in this position again. What happens if your opponent gets their knight out on c3 instead of pushing the pawn to attack your knight or going for a pin? Then, we can go our knight on g4, still the same mission, attacking f2 pawn. If they go on h3 attacking our knight, then we can have a fork of rook and queen. But if they go on bishop e3 to defend, then we can have a trade and have advantage of positions and better development. So, pushing d3 pawn is already analyzed. Let's analyze another possible move, which is e5 to attack your knight and trying to control the center. If they go on d3 still to attack your knight, then we end up with a position earlier. Same mission of attacking f2 pawn. So instead of attacking your knight, they go on d4 trying to control the center and blocking of possible bishop development. Since we can't go bishop c5, we go on queen h4, with the same mission of attacking f2 pawn. If they block it with pawn, we can just take it with knight and easy rook takes. So, that's it for pushing e5. Let's analyze other common moves. Instead of pushing d3 or e5, they go on knight c3? So, we still go on the same mission, attacking f2. Still, bishop c5, if they go d3 to defend e4 pawn, then we end up with the same position earlier. So, if they develop bishop c4 intending to castle, then we still go on knight g4 with the mission of attacking f2 pawn. If they castle, put your queen on h4 to attack and attempting to mate. If they go on h3 to attack our knight and avoid being mate, then take the pawn on f2. If they take it with rook, they loses with pawn and rook, that's why they might defend with their queen. Then take pawn h3 double check. They have 2 options to move with the same result, checkmate. Let's go back in this position. What if the opponent didn't castle instead? They go on counterattack of queen f3 intending to mate. Then we just simply defend and attack with knight e5. They go on e2 to defend their bishop, then we continue our mission of attacking f2 square using queen on h4. If they block it with pawn, then queen on h3 and have some attack afterward. So, if they don't block with the pawn, instead push d3 to support the bishop, then we can go on attack directly with bishop g4 threatening the queen. They might go on f1, then we can have a trade of pieces intending also of opening the d file for possible attack after castling on the queen side. Let's go back in this position. What if they go on f3? Then, we can just castle and develop the pieces. If they go on bishop e2, then go on h5, for planning of going knight g4 for the same mission of attacking f2. But if they block it with pawn h3, then, go on queen d4, same mission, attacking f2 pawn. If they castle, then we can sacrifice our knight on g4. If they don't take, then we can easily take a pawn with a pin. But if they take our knight, we can just take back with pawn. If they decided to push pawn on d3 intending to develop, we can go on queen e5 for unstoppable checkmate. Let's analyze the another options of white to move here, which is queen e2 defending the pawn. Then still bishop c5, with the same mission of attacking f2 pawn. If they go on d3 defending the pawn, then knight g4, attacking f2 square. But if they decided to go on knight c3, we have an options of knight g4 attacking f2 pawn or to castle for a better position, and the opponent can't still castle because of undeveloped bishops. Well, that's it. And now, I'm gonna show you a sample game using Stafford Gambit.